What's up, guys? It's Christian here, and today I'll be doing a predictions video for the NFL season after watching the first week of games. So we'll start off with the AFC East. So far, there's not a lot to see except out of two teams, maybe a third. So I have the Patriots at 11-5. I think they haven't played great. It's going to be hard without Edelman, but I think they'll calm the storm while he's out, and they'll ultimately win the division, still in my opinion. I think the team that's going to be really, really close and ultimately be a wild card team is going to be the New York Jets. They looked fantastic against the Lions. Sam Darnold, after his first pick, looked fantastic. Their wide receivers can get even better. They were missing Jermaine Kearse. Quincy Enunwa is a good receiver. So is Terrell Pryor, Robbie Anderson. They have a good core. Running backs aren't bad either. Defense is good. So I expect the Jets to ultimately push the Patriots all the way down to the end of the season, but finish as a wild card team, 10-6. Now I have third is the Miami Dolphins, who beat the Titans, which is kind of a good win, but it's not like a great win. The Titans are like mediocre, probably, I would say. But I still think that for some reason they're going to play really well this season, and through Tannehill and Drake, the running back. They have Kenny Stills, I believe, still. Devontae Parker as well. I think that they will finish 7-9 with a respectable record, considering most people don't think they can win many games this season. Now, the worst team in this division, and probably one of the worst teams in NFL currently, is the Buffalo Bills. 3-13 is what I have them finishing. They got killed by the Ravens, who aren't known as an offensive team anyway, and they scored 47. Their quarterback situation's awful. We'll see if their pick is a good quarterback. I don't know, and we'll see. I mean, the Peterman guy isn't great. They don't have a lot of weapons. Shady McCoy, Kelvin Benjamin, I don't think that they are a team that's going to challenge this year or for a long time. It's going to take a lot of time to rebuild that team after what they did last year, making the playoffs. Now we have the AFC North, which is it's a kind of an interesting division, because you have Le'Veon Bell, who's not available right now. We don't know how long he's going to be out. You have Cleveland Browns, who have been the most team to lose. They've lost, I think, 31 games in the last 2 years. So who knows how they're going to be, because people think they're going to be very good. You got the Ravens, who somehow killed the Bills. And then you have the Bengals, who beat the Colts and looked pretty good with John Ross and AJ Green on the wings as their best two wideouts. So it'll be interesting how I see this division going. Now I have a bold pick. I have the Baltimore Ravens actually winning this division at 9-7, mainly because they look okay, and the Steelers, who knows how long they're not going to have Le'Veon Bell, and it looks like it's going to be 4 to 6 weeks more. So and the Steelers did not look good at all against the Browns team. They're not bad, but they're not one of the best teams in the league. So when they face a Patriots team or somebody else of the lines of that, it's going to be tough. And I think that the Ravens will finish 9-7. Now you have the Steelers. I have them at 8-7-1 because of the tie they had with the Browns. I don't think they're going to be that great without Le'Veon Bell, which he makes them. James Conner's a good running back, but he's not a game-changing running back like Le'Veon is, with his patient running style, and it just takes less pressure off Antonio Brown. Juju Schuster is a good wide receiver who probably will have a good sophomore season, but I don't think they're going to be well without Le'Veon Bell, which will ultimately screw them up. Now, the Bengals are my third team at 7-9. I think they're going to be pretty decent, not make the playoffs. Marvin Lewis probably loses his job if he doesn't make the playoffs. AJ Green's going to have a comeback season. Andy Dalton will be as mediocre as he is, but that's good enough to get them 7 wins. Joe Mixon, Vontaze Burfict on the defense. They have other guys, too, on the defense, and that'll ultimately give them 7 wins, in my opinion. And then we have the Browns. So I have them at 6-9-1. I think that they will definitely improve a lot this season. You could tell, they tied the Steelers, which is pretty good for them. Josh Gordon looks pretty good. Jarvis Landry looked nice. They probably will end up starting Baker Mayfield at some point, which would be interesting. Carlos Hyde isn't a bad pickup. So I think they will probably win 6 games, in my opinion. Now we have the AFC West. So this is an interesting division because it looks like there's 2 teams that are going to be running for this division, the Chiefs and the Los Angeles Chargers. Now, I decided that I believe the Chargers will finish second, and so I'll talk about the Chiefs first. So I have them at 11-5. Patrick Mahomes looks like an incredible quarterback so far. Their wide receivers, Tyreek Hill, incredible speed on punt returns, kickoff returns, as the wide out, and he's been incredible. Kareem Hunt's going to have a sophomore season. That's nice. Travis Kelce as well. They have Sammy Watkins. They're going to be a team that could be possibly dangerous in the, I guess, less competitive AFC now with who knows what the Steelers, the Patriots. Looks like their help for Tom Brady isn't as good as it used to be. So I think that they can pull off some damage in the playoffs, in my opinion, and after they win this division. So we have the Chargers at 9-7. I think Melvin Gordon, underrated. Phillip Rivers is a great quarterback. You got Keenan Allen on the wide receivers. Antonio Gates just came back after their other tight end, Hunter Henry, I believe. He got a season-ending injury or long-term, so that's going to be tough for them. But Antonio Gates is a solid, old but veteran tight end presence. And I think that their defense is going to be good enough to get them 9-7 this year. And I have the Broncos actually finishing third because they looked pretty good. They beat the Seahawks, which is an okay win. Case Keenum looked nice. Demaryius Thomas, Emmanuel Sanders. They have a lot. Von Miller, their defense. Bradley Chubb, their pick. They've looked pretty good, and I don't think they're making the playoffs. I think they will finish 7-9. Now I have Oakland 6-10. It really didn't make sense that they traded their best player probably, and it didn't make a lot of sense to get rid of Khalil Mack to the Bears. I mean, you get 2 picks, but like, is that worth it? He's a game-changing, once-in-a-lifetime star player, and you decided to trade him. And you saw what he did against the Packers, and he was a complete game changer in playing like half of the snaps. So I think that they made a big mistake. They still won't be horrible like a Bills team, but they have Derek Carr, they have Amari Cooper, Jordy Nelson. So they have options, but I don't think they're going to be that great. Then we have the AFC South. So I have Jacksonville finishing 10-6. The big loss is their receiving core. They lost Allen Hurns to the Cowboys, Allen Robinson to the Bears, and they lost Marquise Lee to a season-ending injury. So their receiving core, they did pull off a win against the Giants with a decent secondary, but I don't know if they can hold up in a playoff game, which they probably will go out in the divisional round maybe. But either way, they will win this division. I don't think Deshaun Watson's going to be healthy enough to get them the division. They'll be very close, and that's why I have them as 9-7 in the wild card team, the second wild card. And this is because Deshaun Watson's still a great quarterback. You got DeAndre Hopkins, you got Lamar Miller, you got Will Fuller when he gets back, J.J. Watt's back now, Javon Clowney. They're a very good team, and I think that the Texans will be still good. They'll make the playoffs, but they won't win the division. And then you got the Titans, who Mariota looks a little banged up. They got Butler, corner from the Patriots. They got Derrick Henry after Marco Murray retired. He's gonna have a great year, in my opinion. Maybe a Pro Bowl possibility. I don't really know what their wide receivers are, considering that there's receiving cores better than them, but it's still not bad. And then you got the Colts 5-11 for me. I think Andrew Luck is going to have a rough-ish year because of how rusty he's kind of looked. They didn't play bad against the Bengals, but they still lost. And T.Y. Hilton is not going to be bad. And they're not bad, but I don't think they're good enough to challenge for a wild card, in my opinion. So that's the AFC. Now I have the NFC East. So I have the reigning Super Bowl champs at 12-4 winning this division. I think they haven't progressed that much, or they haven't gotten much worse. I've actually gotten pretty better, and they look like a team that should challenge. We'll see what Carson Wentz does, but they have most of the guys back, plus they brought in some new guys that are going to help a lot. And that's why I see them winning this division pretty easily considering the other teams. Now, it's a kind of a toss-up between the Giants and the Cowboys for me. And being a Cowboys fan, I'm actually not going to go with my head or heart. Just kidding. I'm going to go with my head, and I'm going to say the Giants at 9-7. And I'm saying they're going to be our first wild card, maybe second. It could go either way. And I think Saquon's going to be incredible. Odell's going to have a great year. Sterling Shepard's going to be good. Eli Manning's going to pull off enough to get them in the playoffs. And I just think that they are good enough to make the playoffs. And their secondary, their defense is good. I just think that the Giants are slightly better than the Dallas Cowboys at this point. And that's why I have the Dallas Cowboys at third at 8-8. It's really tough to see how the Cowboys are going to be. Zeke looked not that good. Dak looked not good at all. Our defense looked very, very good, but if you don't have receivers or a running scheme, it's going to be hard. Travis Frederick being out as our Pro Bowl center with the autoimmune disease, I believe, is going to kill us, and if he's out for extended time, it probably will cost us a playoff spot, so that's why I have him at 8-8. And then we have the Redskins at 7-9. I think Alex Smith is a good pickup. Now, they did lose Kirk Cousins, but they still have a good receiving core. Jordan Reed, Paul Richardson from the Seattle Seahawks, and they have Dotson, I think. John Dotson, I think. He's not bad either. So they'll be decent, but they won't make the playoffs or finish high in this division. Now I got the NFC North. And this is interesting for me because I wasn't really sure who to pick for one, but I ended up going with the Vikings at 11-5. I think Kirk Cousins is big, Stephon Diggs, Adam Thielen, Kyle Rudolph, Dalvin Cook, who was missing 4 games. That's going to make them interesting with their defense, and I think they could possibly be a title contender, Super Bowl. It'll be interesting. And I have the Green Bay Packers at 9-7 and getting the second wild card. I think they're going to be decent enough to make the playoffs, but Aaron Rodgers doesn't have a ton of help. He got beat up by a good defensive Chicago Bears team, and it looked like he was going to be out for a serious amount of time, but it turned out not to be that, and he came back and won. But they can't rely on that because they're going to lose games like that, and I don't think they're going to get past the wild card game, maybe the divisional round if they're lucky. Now I have the Bears at 3. I think that they will be 7-9. Khalil Mack's going to be a fantastic pickup. Their defense is great. Trubisky is a good quarterback, and he'll have a good sophomore season. They have a good running game, and Cohen and Jordan Howard. Allen Robinson is a good pickup too. I think they will be good, close to a wild card, but not going to get there. And then we have the Lions, who looked awful against the Jets. Credit to the Jets, but Stafford looked awful. Golden Tate, Marvin Jones, LeGarrette Blount. They have like 4 running backs that could probably start for or be a good backup on most teams. Their defense didn't look that great. I don't see a lot out of them. 4-12 at best. Now we get the NFC West. So I have the Rams at 13-13 as probably one of the title contenders. Brandon Cooks is huge for them. Jared Goff, Todd Gurley, their other receiver, Robert Woods. Their defense is incredible. Donald and Ndamukong Suh. They try to get Khalil Mack, and I would probably pick them as the team to win the title no matter what for the Super Bowl if they got him, but they didn't. And I still think they're a great team. Marcus Peters, Talib. They're a stacked team, and Sean McVay is going to do a decent job and get them at 13-3. Now we get the 49ers at 2. I think Jimmy Garoppolo is getting a little overhyped, and they didn't look great against the Vikings. It is the Vikings, but I don't think they're as good. They don't have a lot of receivers. Jared McKinnon, their running back, got hurt. So I have them at 7-9. Now we have the Seahawks, and they are going to finish 5-11 for me. And we have the Cardinals 13-13. Neither team looks that great. I don't have a lot to say about either one. Seattle did a lot with their secondary and only have Earl Thomas back. Russell Wilson's going to be relied on a ton, and I don't think his receiving core is going to do enough. And then you got the Cardinals, who are really sure if they're going to start Sam Bradford or is it I forget which quarterback it is, but Larry Fitzgerald's getting a little older. David Johnson should have a good year, but that won't be enough to get them more than 3 wins for me. And then we have the interesting NFC South when we had Fitzmagic go off and kill the Saints, which was incredible. And this is a really tough division for me. I have the Falcons finishing 10-6 and winning the division, mainly because the Saints looked awful. I don't think the Panthers are going to be good enough with Greg Olsen being out for extended time, and the Buccaneers will drop off, probably starting Jameis Winston because it's the Buccaneers and they mess us up 9 times out of 10, and that'll be another mistake. For the Falcons, Matt Ryan, incredible. Julio Jones should have a good year. Their tandem in the backfield, Coleman and Freeman will be good. Calvin Ridley will be a good rookie. And then you have the Saints, number 2, Drew Brees. You have, who's going to be great, Michael Thomas. You got Alvin Kamara, Mark Ingram when he comes back. Their defense looked really suspect against a barely good Buccaneers offense, so that's really weird for me. And then you got the Buccaneers. I have at 8-8. They're going to be good, but not great. I think Fitzmagic should start the whole season just like he did for the Jets. He looked great for the Jets. He should look good here. Willie, I don't know. Jameis Winston's supposed to be their franchise player, but he continues to make mistakes off the field, so that'll be interesting to see what they do. Mike Evans, Deshaun Jackson, they look pretty good, but I don't know if they can get to the wild card maybe. And then I have Carolina. They did beat the Cowboys, but Greg Olsen getting hurt and probably going to have to be out for extended time kills any receiving core they have. They Christian McCaffrey out of the backfield, but that won't be enough. They have Devin Funchess. Cam doesn't have enough help for me to ultimately get anywhere close to the playoffs. So those are my predictions for the NFL season after 1 week. I have the Falcons, Rams, Vikings, Eagles, Jaguars, Chiefs, Ravens, and Patriots winning their divisions. And the wildcard teams will be the Packers, Giants, Jets, and Texans. So just let me know what you think the predictions for you will be in the comments below after 1 week. Those are what I have. Just please like, subscribe, and give me any video ideas you'd like me to talk about.